And so that $3 million ask is provided in the budget in front of you. That would be in conjunction with the $3 million that we're putting forth currently to provide Bibles in the classroom. So this would give us the ability to utilize $6 million in less than 2 years to ensure that the Bible hasn't been driven out of Oklahoma classrooms, and would be a significant step for the state of Oklahoma to ensure that we're not allowing the left to censor American history.
This is Ryan Walters. If you're unfamiliar, he's the superintendent over all of Oklahoma schools, and he's found himself in quite a pickle. He is being impeached, or people are talking about impeachment against him at the very least. Let me just give you an idea of some of the things that he's doing right now. Just listen to this clip from him. This one is from mid-September 2024.
I woke up this morning. It's Constitution Day. Such an exciting time to think about the Constitution, what it means for this country.
Okay, first of all, I've never heard of Constitution Day, but okay, sure, great. Second, I think about the Constitution every day. Do you not think about it every day? It doesn't sound like you're a very good American.
By protecting our rights with the separation of powers and checks and balances. But it's also just an incredibly sober thought that we've got to recognize that the radical left is trying to the Constitution.
Am I the radical left? Would you call me the radical left? I'm not trying to keep the Constitution. What are you talking about?
By President Trump. That is their...
They're trying... Are you serious right now? They're trying to... Okay, I'm sorry. One more time.
Recognize that the radical left is trying to the Constitution by President Trump. That is...
That's really funny he says that, because every shot taken at Donald Trump has been from a Republican, weirdly. Is that odd to anybody else? Almost as though Donald Trump whipped people into a blood frenzy and got them to the point where they were willing to take matters into their own hands and use violence to solve problems or whatever.
Trump. That is their attempt here. They want to President Trump in order to assassinate the Constitution so that our rights won't be protected.
I'm not sure how that would the Constitution anyway. What does Trump have to do with the Constitution? I'm really trying here. I'm on the struggle bus. Please, somebody help. What would an assassination attempt against him have to do with abolishing the Constitution? How are they kind of connected to each other?
Constitution so that our rights won't be protected, so the country will cease to exist, so that the Justice Department can be weaponized against citizens, so that the elites will have power to run over any individual who doesn't share their beliefs.
Okay, I don't want to run anybody over. Funny he says that. Didn't Ron DeSantis not too long ago sign a bill into law that makes it easier for people to run over protesters and get out of legal trouble? What does any of this have to do with assassination attempts or whatever? I don't understand.
And President Trump is the one standing between the American people and those radical Marxist leftists. And if they take him out, they're able to take the Constitution out. So important for us to remember that on Constitution Day, that the attempts to assassinate President Trump are attempts to assassinate the Constitution, and we cannot let the Marxists win.
I don't understand, man. I am so lost. I'm trying to connect dots desperately. If you don't remember this guy, let me give you a little bit of background real fast. He announced that he wants to force teachers to use Bibles as teaching materials in the classroom. This one is from June 27th, 2024.
We're going to make an important announcement today regarding the Bible and the Ten Commandments. My staff has been looking at Oklahoma statute. We've been looking at Oklahoma academic standards. And it's crystal clear to us that in the Oklahoma academic standards, under Title 70, multiple occasions, the Bible is a necessary historical document to teach our kids about the history of this country, to have a complete understanding of Western civilization, to have an understanding of the basis of our legal system.
I'm sure I don't need to say it. This is completely made up. The Bible had nothing to do with our legal system. Nothing. Intentionally. The only founding document that mentions God in any way is the Declaration of Independence, and that was from before the country was a country. Additionally, it wasn't in reference to God, really. It was in reference to our rights coming from outside of government, most importantly. Either way, where is he getting all of this?
And is frankly, when we're talking about the Bible, one of the most foundational documents used for the Constitution and the birth
No, it isn't.
of our country.
No, that's just a lie. This guy was a history teacher. He knows that he's lying, right? He must.
We also find major points in history that refer to the Bible, that reference the Bible.
Look, if those moments in history happen and it's necessary to discuss the Bible's connection to what happened, like if Martin Luther King Jr. was Christian, which he was, and wrote in his speeches, quotes in the Bible, which he did, fine, mention it. That's not what he's trying to do. He's trying to force teachers to teach from the Bible during class time, like full-time Bible teaching. Turn it into a church service.
We see multiple figures, whether we're talking about the Federalist Papers, constitutional conventional arguments, and Martin Luther King Jr., who use it as a tremendous impetus for the civil rights movement and tie many of those arguments back to the Bible.
You think it's a little bit weird that while Martin Luther King Jr. was using the Bible to justify his civil rights arguments, the South, the KKK, was also using the Bible to justify their arguments, pointing out that the Bible justifies and endorses slavery?
It is essential that our kids have an understanding of the Bible and its historical context.
They can get that in church. Students are doing just fine without the Bible in the classroom.
So we will be issuing a memo today that every school district will adhere to, which is that every teacher, every classroom in the state will have a Bible in the classroom and will be teaching from the Bible.
Okay, every teacher in every classroom. So he's not talking about the historically relevant contexts in which the Bible is brought up, like Martin Luther King Jr. Quoting the Bible. He's not talking about that. It's not for history teachers, it's for teachers, including the math teachers, the home ec teachers, the everything, the shop class teachers. They all have a Bible that they all are mandated to teach from. They must teach from it. That's what he just said.
In the classroom to ensure that this historical understanding is there for every student in the state of Oklahoma in accordance with our academic standards and state law.
Just disgusting stuff, man. Seriously. Well, it gets even more disgusting, believe it or not. He made another announcement recently. This one is from late September 2024.
And so that $3 million ask is provided in the budget in front of you. That would be in conjunction with the $3 million that we're putting forth currently to provide Bibles in the classroom. So this would give us the ability to utilize $6 million in less than 2 years to ensure that the Bible hasn't been driven out of Oklahoma classrooms, and would be a significant step for the state of Oklahoma to ensure that we're not allowing the left to censor American history.
Okay, there you go. Well, the thing is, he's not trying to he's not trying to put the Bible into history classes. Again, it's in every classroom, first. And second, I find it so interesting that this is the hill he wants to die. He's fighting tooth and nail to get the Bible placed into classrooms, while his state is in 49th place, I believe, or 50th. I think it fluctuates. 49th or 50th place for educational standards or educational achievement or whatever. That means he sucks. He is a really bad administrator, manager, like awful. All he's thinking about is the Bible and getting it into more classrooms. Not thinking about things like this right here. Why didn't he pass something to get this stopped? This is from an Oklahoma school. Why didn't he investigate this situation? Pretended it didn't even happen. But we have Ryan Walters over here hiring Chaya Raichik to work for the Oklahoma school system. I don't remember in what capacity. Instead of looking into this whole situation with the students with the letters in front of them, what is he doing? This is written on September 16th, 2024 from Oklahoma City Free Press. It's just like a local Oklahoma paper. Reagan Killacky was goofing around with his son and daughter in a party supply store in September 2019, snapping photos. His daughter put on a mask of Donald Trump. His son held up a silver plastic sword and Kalaki grimaced. Kalaki, a high school teacher, posted the family photos to his personal Instagram. Everything that we've read so far exonerates Kalaki from any administrative action. If he's acting as a private citizen, he can say or do whatever he wants. It's when he's in the classroom that things become an issue, and he's never done anything questionable in the classroom. 5 years later, in the days following the attempted assassination of Trump at a campaign rally, an anonymous tipster sent a screenshot of the Trump mask photo to the Oklahoma Department of Education with a description. Posted picture on personal Instagram account of the fictitious stabbing of fake presidential candidate mask. The department took swift action and filed to take away Kalaki's teacher certification, the harshest discipline the department can take against an educator. The proceedings are typically reserved for serious offenses, such as child abuse, predatory behavior, or criminal charges. But in Kalaki's case, Superintendent of Public Instruction Ryan Walters prioritized punishing a teacher over political speech he disagreed with in order to score political points. The First Amendment prohibits disciplining a teacher for political speech made as a private citizen, multiple lawyers and free speech experts said. Quote, for Walters, who's attempting to build this profile of a patriotic American wrapped in a flag, this sort of behavior is about as un-American as it gets, said Ryan Kiesel, a civil rights attorney and former state representative. So, Ryan Walters is hyper aware of things like this happening. Just a single teacher snapping a photo on an Instagram or on his personal Instagram 5 years ago. He's aware of this one right here and others. There's one case where a teacher, I don't even remember what it was. It was just some stupid thing, just like this. And the teacher was basically fired, and they did the same thing with the other teacher. She moved to a different state, and he's still going after her teacher certification. So he'll do that for this stuff. But what about this? Doesn't care? What's going on here? Did this not make it to him? Did he just not see it? What happened? I happen to know that he almost certainly did see it because it's on his Twitter account in replies to pretty much everything that he posts about attacking teachers or whatever, because he's not doing anything about it. Here's another example of this guy and kind of his ideology that he brings with him everywhere. This one is from May 1st, 2023.
Or an issue, please send it over to us. But, the teachers union, I don't negotiate with the teachers union. They're a terrorist organization that is content.
A terrorist organization? So the teachers union is sending teachers around to terrorize you, to leave bombs in your mailbox or whatever, is what you're telling me? Words mean things, okay? Words matter. You can't just say anything and expect to be taken seriously.
Members.
Look, he's laughing at it. He's smiling. He thinks this is funny. This is what he wanted, to hurt people, to piss people off. Yeah, I said this in another video recently, but about Roseanne specifically. She is not just misinformed. Like with this guy, Ryan Walters, not just misinformed. It's not like our morals are actually completely aligned. We just have different ideas about how to get there. It's not like that. Like, I want students to be really well educated. Presumably, Ryan Walters wants them to be really well educated too, right? He just thinks that you got to use the Bible to do that. I don't believe that's the case with him. I don't think he wants students well educated. I think everything he does is bad faith. I think he knows what he's doing here, being a colossal scumbag, and he's doing it on purpose. Is he just like a vile scumbag intentionally, or is he more aligned with us? Just different strategies to get there.
Members.
That has continued to spread misinformation around the state and lie about our administration. So, Speaker,
her question regarding your rhetoric was not about party alone. I don't want to speak for my colleague from Tulsa, but my view is when you talk about radical leftists, that is certainly partisan, and I do question how you see us coming together as a result of that kind of language. But you also talk about it in terms of American history and not teaching the bad side of it. But then this morning, before you came in here, you posted a video wherein you talk about how you'd like to put Bibles in all public schools. I grew up in a Christian church, and I still adhere to many of those beliefs. But it is not our job, and in fact, it is constitutionally prohibited for us to. I guess I'm curious what your definition of indoctrination is, because what you said in that video could absolutely be construed as an attempt to indoctrinate kids.
I appreciate his language here, but it couldn't absolutely be construed that way. It is an explicit attempt to indoctrinate kids. The Bible is not going to make kids perform better in algebra, and everybody knows that, including Ryan Walters. It's not about sides, though, really. This guy pointed that out. It's not about which side you're on, left or right. It's about the rhetoric. It's about the tactics. Like, if Roseanne were on the left, if Ryan Walters were on the left, I would be equally disturbed and appalled by them claiming that, you know, their enemies are vampires or they're a terrorist organization simply for just like running things and being normal human beings, just not indoctrinating children with stuff 24/7. That doesn't make anybody a terrorist. It's the rhetoric. It's the excitement over violence. It's like he's waiting for it. He's looking for an opportunity to inject violence into any political discussion. I wouldn't be okay with it if it were on my side, and I'm not okay with it now.
Yeah, and I appreciate that question because it does illustrate that Democrats want to strike out any mentions of the Bible from our history.
Like what? What is he talking about? He's just flipping this around to be all about persecution. He's just being a shithead for no reason, right?
And make sure that our kids...
Yeah, he's not even answering the question. I do see, though, that he's a pocket square man, and I can appreciate that. That's dapper.
Real quick. Superintendent, I do not believe that. And if you
Representative
could
Bennett.
keep that out of your
Representative
mouth while
Bennett.
you answer my question, I'd appreciate it.
All right, this meeting's adjourned. Thank you for being here. Have a good
Thank you.
Excellent. They're so afraid to try to see what I only did.
Just disgusting stuff, man. I'm really curious what she's saying to him, though, now. Hang on, let me see if I can amp this up here.
Thank you. Excellent. They're so afraid to try to see what I only did.
Can't make it out. Anyway, just disgusting stuff, seriously. What is wrong with these people? What's going through their heads? Why is he like this? Why is he constantly a shithead to everybody around him? And why would anybody vote for a complete shithead for somebody that wants to, like, run Oklahoma schools? It's like the bullies have taken over the school system now. Tell me what you think about it in the comments. This dude's just bottom of the barrel vile, in my opinion.